The House will come to order. Members, please take your seats. Head page.
The House is now in session. All persons not entitled to privileges of the floor, please retire to the gallery.
The members will rise and be led in prayer by Pastor Ray Rowson, Place of Change, Chesapeake, and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States of America, which will be led by the delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Let us pray. God of wisdom and mercy, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the men and women who serve in this chamber. We ask your blessing upon every delegate, honor their work, strengthen their resolve, and reward their faithful service. Many carry this responsibility at great personal cost. Remind them that service done with integrity and humility is never unseen, and that when they serve the people well, it's a service that honors you. Grant them clear minds for complex issues, steady hearts under pressure, and courage to choose what is right. Give them the discipline to seek truth, the grace to listen, and the restraint to lead with respect even in disagreement. We lift up the Commonwealth of Virginia, every city and county, every community and household. Let the decisions made here protect the vulnerable, promote fairness, and uphold the dignity of every person. Let these proceedings be marked with order, wisdom, and purpose, and may the work accomplished here today leave Virginia stronger, safer, and more united. Amen.
Amen.
Crazy morning here. Thank you.
The members will answer the roll call by indicating their presence on the electronic voting board. Clerk will close the roll.
Mr. Speaker, a quorum is present.
Pursuant to House Rule 3, I've examined and approved the Journal of the House of Delegates for February 26, 2026. Motions and resolutions under Rule 39, pursuant to the provisions of Rule 40, are now in order. Does the clerk have any announcements or communication?
Just communication from the Senate. They have rejected the House amendments to the following legislation: Senate Bill 28, Senate Bill 161, Senate Bill 358, Senate Bill 398, Senate Bill 493, Senate Bill 596, and Senate Bill 765.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House insist on its amendments and request committees of conference on the previously reported legislation.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House insist and request a conference of committee for the previously announced legislation. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to.
Mr. Speaker, members of the House, pursuant to Rule House 40, Speaker requests you use your request to speak button for the agenda items listed up for reference on the voting board.
The delegate from Chesapeake, Delegate Hayes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for an introduction, actually two introductions.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we want to thank today Pastor A. Ray Rowson for the invocation that he shared with us on today. We know him to be an innovative and passionate leader. We're excited about his ability to build bridges and inspire others. With over 27 years of experience, he has seamlessly integrated theology, transparency, and technology to empower individuals in their Christian journey, helping them to discover their purpose and potential in Jesus Christ. Currently serving as associate pastor at the Place of Change under his leadership of his brother, senior pastor, Reverend Dr. Cedric Rowson, Pastor Ray has demonstrated exceptional leadership and commitment to ministry. Pastor Ray Rowson pursued his undergraduate studies in religion at St. Leo University and obtained his Master of Divinity degree from the Samuel DeWitt Proctor School of Theology at Virginia Union University. He is dedicated to furthering his knowledge and skills as he completes his final year, and hopefully he'll walk this May with his Doctor of Ministry degree at Virginia Union University. Beyond his professional endeavors, Pastor Ray finds immense joy in his family life. He's happily married to Lady Tanya Rowson, They have pride in nurturing their 4 children, Isaiah, Diamond, Antonio, and Andre. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, please help me extend to him a warm House welcome.
Welcome, Pastor Ralston, and thank you for that prayer this morning. We needed it. The delegate from Winchester. Oh, you have another announcement.
In a second, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, joining us today in the gallery, we have the Community Outreach Coalition, and I'll ask them to please stand. Mr. Speaker, this organization, Community Outreach Coalition, they do amazing work in Hampton Roads. Founded in 2008, the Community Outreach Coalition has served over 35,000 individuals throughout the Southside Hampton Roads, the Peninsula, and Western Tidewater, providing programs that creates seamless opportunities for the youth, first-generation college students, and adults, creating a pipeline for academic remediation to workforce certification and post-secondary transitions. Mr. Speaker, the Community Outreach Coalition has operated 2 TRIO programs serving approximately 1,500 first-generation and low-income students, providing them the tools of college and career exploration. Mr. Speaker, members of the House, please join me as we extend to them a warm House welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol. Welcome to the Capitol this morning. Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for motion.
Delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that H.R. 74, found on page 22, be passed by until March 5th.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley, moves that House Resolution 74, found on page 22, be passed by until March 5th. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. H.R. 74 is passed by until March 5th. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for a motion.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of Delegate Lawfer and myself, I move that we call up H.J. 178 out of the block, adopt it, and I'd like to speak to that motion, please.
Clerk will report a resolution.
House Joint Resolution 178, commending the Peace Corps.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it's Peace Corps Day. Both Delegate Lawfer and I are former Peace Corps volunteers, or as we like to call ourselves, returned Peace Corps volunteers, RPCVs. She served in Jamaica, and I served in Bolivia. And we'd like to ask all of the returned Peace Corps volunteers who've joined us in the gallery to commemorate this occasion to please rise. These former volunteers have joined us from all over the Commonwealth, from Northern Virginia, Richmond, Hampton Roads, Fredericksburg, Charlottesville, and other locations. But here's where it gets interesting. These are the countries in which they've served. Please bear with me here. It's going to be a minute. Benin, Bolivia, Belize, Burkina Faso, China, Costa Rica, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Dominica, El Salvador, Eswatini, Ethiopia, Georgia, Guatemala, Hungary, Liberia, Micronesia, Namibia, Paraguay, Peru, Philippines, Senegal, Suriname, Thailand, Togo, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, and Vanuatu. Now that they're back in the United States, these RPCVs engage in volunteerism, activism, intercultural exchange. They are lifelong global ambassadors. Mr. Speaker, established by President Kennedy in Executive Order 1961, the Peace Corps on Sunday will celebrate its 65th anniversary. It has 3 core missions: help people of other countries, promote a better understanding of Americans in the countries we serve, and promote a better understanding of those countries to Americans. Since its founding, 240,000 Americans have served in 144 countries, and nearly 9,000 Virginians have served from the Commonwealth. And it sent the highest number of Peace Corps volunteers abroad per capita, and the second highest total of 178 serving last year. Here's what President Kennedy said when he established the organization, quote, "Life in the Peace Corps will not be easy. There will be no salary, and allowances will be at a level sufficient only to maintain health and basic needs. But if life will not be easy, it will be rich and satisfying." Indeed, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I hope it will be the pleasure of the body to recognize these men and women and adopt H.J. 178, a resolution commemorating the 65th anniversary of the Peace Corps.
The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh, moves that the House Joint Resolution 178, commending the Peace Corps. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The resolution is agreed to. Congratulations. Pursuant to House Rule 30, the Journal shall reflect that the following members are away on pressing personal business and are granted leave from today's session. Delegates Converse Fowler, Garrett, and Guzman. Clerk will announce the next order of business.
The second portion of the morning hour is reserved for member announcements and member requests to move legislation from any uncontested to the regular calendar. There are 4 in that first category. Senate Bills 3rd uncontested, page 2. SB 67 by Senator Diggs and Senator Favola's SB 177 out of the block over to the regular calendar. Same category, page 5, Senator Boysko's SB 407 is out of the block over to the regular calendar. And then forward into a non-live category, but Senate Bill's second reading uncontested on page 34 of today's calendar. Senator Perry's SB 788 is over to the regular calendar.
Clerk will announce the next order.
Third portion of the morning hour, announcement member request for legislation to move to take the legislation by for the day. There is just one. On page 19, Senator Rouse's SB 661, category is Senate Bill's 3rd regular. That is a request to go by for the day. Request Delegate Tran.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the legislation as announced by the clerk go by for the day. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The legislation is by for the day. Clerk will announce the next order.
And on this Friday, the fourth portion of the morning hour reserved for member requests for points of personal privilege. Kindly use your request to speak button to get into the queue.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as you know, on Tuesday night, my district had the honor of hosting Governor Abigail Spanberger in historic Williamsburg as she delivered the response to the State of the Union from the chamber of the House of Burgesses, the oldest continuous legislative body in the Western Hemisphere. From the birthplace of representative government in our Commonwealth, where our nation forged a new path toward freedom, she spoke about something just as fundamental to freedom today: affordability. For more than 2 hours, we heard a speech from the president telling us to deny the atrocities we see with our eyes and the strains we are feeling on our pocketbooks as we try to survive this current economy. But in just a matter of minutes, Governor Spanberger spoke clearly, over and over again, about lowering costs for working families, lowering housing costs, lowering health care and prescription drug costs, lowering energy bills, and making groceries and child care more affordable. This is what real leadership looks like, and I am grateful that the entire country got to witness it. Governor Spanberger ran on building a more affordable agenda, and we are proud to partner with her to make that happen. On day one, she signed executive orders to reduce living expenses, lower health care costs, and increase housing supply. And this House of Delegates, working with her, has already passed every single bill in that agenda. Some even pass in a bipartisan manner. And yet we continue to watch members on the other side of the aisle lie and claim the governor has made life unaffordable. Make that make sense, Mr. Speaker. The difference between the White House and the executive mansion down the street is glaring. The policy from this federal administration has created uncertainty and fear, and Virginia is responding with sound policy to support and uplift every Virginian. While Congress refuses to stand up against these harmful policies, this General Assembly is fighting for working families. Mr. Speaker, it appears some of our members have already forgotten an important fact, so I will quickly remind them that the voters overwhelmingly spoke this November when they elected Governor Spanberger, Lieutenant Governor Hashmi, Attorney General Jay Jones, and flipped 13 seats right here in the House of Delegates. As you have said, Mr. Speaker, the voters asked for thoughtful restraint. They asked for serious solutions. They asked for leadership focused on them first, and with their vote, they demanded affordability. And I know that is exactly what they are getting from our Governor Abigail Spanberger and from us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Scott County, Delegate Kilgore.
Mr. Speaker, I just wanted to rise for a parliamentary inquiry. The lady from Williamsburg said that members on my side of the aisle lied, and I do not think that's appropriate for the House of Delegates on the floor of the House.
I will remind members of Rule 57. No member will in debate use any language or gesture calculated to wound, offend, or insult another member, and I would ask members to take that under advisement. The delegate from Hampton County, Delegate Thornton.
Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will be speaking on Black History Month as we bring it to a close.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, sir. We must not ask, how did they die, but how did they live? Not what did they gain, but what did they give? Because these are the merits that measure the worth of a man or woman, regardless of birth. Not what were their stations, but had their heart, and how did they play their God-given part? Because, Mr. Speaker, we all have a part to play in this experience called life. And Black history has a part also to play in this experience called life. Because it is our history that has paved the path to our destiny. So as I grappled with what I'd like to share as far as a few remarks for Black history, my mind just kept taking me back to the 16, 17, and 1800s, when Black people had to deal with so much trauma, to do what they say in the Marine Corps, to adapt and overcome. And that brings me to mind the barrel, and that experience, the torment and torture that other slaves had to bear. And that is when a barrel nails was hammered into the side of it. And then a slave was stripped naked, male or female, and stuffed in that barrel so that their skin would come in contact with those sharp edges. Then the lid was placed on top, and that was nailed down. And while the slave was inside screaming and hollering for their lives, other slaves were made to look at what was going on. The barrel was tossed over to the side and rolled down a really rocky hill. Well, Mr. Speaker, we know what happened to the slave inside. He or she died. But then my mind brought me to something I want to talk about here in the legislature, because we're all dealing with bills each and every day. And those bills, we hope, will one day be a law. So I was thinking about the injustice that we see each and every day. And I was thinking about a 14-year-old boy who was up in Illinois, and his mother wanted him to spend some time with his family. So she put him on a train. He went down to Money, Mississippi. And down in Money, Mississippi, only a few days later, when this kid was with his family, he was abducted from his home in the middle of the night, in the darkness of the night, screaming and hollering, I'm quite sure, put in the back of a truck, and then driven about 30 miles from his home. And from there, Emmett Till was beaten to an inch of his life, a 14-year-old boy. And then he was drove to a river, or to a bridge, and thrown off the river after he had been shot in the head several times, wrapped with barbed wire to a cotton gin fan, and thrown in the lake. He sunk to the bottom, and there he lay for several days, as his family frantically tried to search for him to see where he was. But, Mr. Speaker, we're talking about justice and injustice, because the two men that abducted him and also kidnapped him, they confessed to doing so. But they were not found guilty of murder. But they sold the story later to a newspaper saying that they did do the murder. And because of double jeopardy, they wasn't allowed to be tried again. Mr. Speaker, it is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. who said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. But, Mr. Speaker, what I really wanted to talk about, because it came to mind, and that is about a second-class seaman. He was on the USS West Virginia, and the date, December 7, 1941. His ship was docked at Pearl Harbor, and it was attacked by enemy aircraft. And his ship was bombed, torpedoed, and began to sink. So he ran up to the upper deck. He found his captain laying on the deck. He had shrapnel all in his stomach. So he picked him up. This was Doris Miller. He picked that captain up, took him to safety, then ran back to see what he could do to help his fellow sailors. Well, this was 1941. He saw a 50 caliber anti-aircraft machine gun, but he wasn't trained to use it. This was 1941. Black people were not trained to handle such artillery, but he manned it anyway. And he shot that 50 caliber anti-aircraft machine gun until he ran out of ammo. When the dust was cleared, he had shot down 6 aircraft. However, the Navy report said only 1. And they did not even mention his name in the report. They said a Negro mess assistant had helped and aided in shooting down 1 plane. Mr. Speaker, that sailor, that second-class sailor, was the only black sailor and only black enlisted man to have a Navy vessel named after him. And that is the USS Doris Miller. It's currently being built at Newport News Shipbuilding because the Navy felt that the Navy Cross was not enough to honor him. So 80 years later, they decided to name a vessel after him. Mr. Speaker, as I come to a close, I think about the many persons in our black history that have done many things to make sure that we understand that there are things that we must work toward. I think about people like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I think about people like Harriet Tubman. I think about people like John Lewis. And I also think about people like Frederick Douglass and many others. And as I walk sometime and just in meditation, I can hear their voices coming from the grave. And it's saying to me, it's saying, black people, if there's something that you want bad enough to go out and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it. If all that you dream and scheme is about it, and life becomes useless and worthless without it. But if you gladly sweat for it and plan for it and lose all of your terror, Mr. Speaker, of the opposition for it, if you simply go after that thing that you want with all of your capacity, strength and sagacity, faith, hope and confidence, and stern pertinacity, if you let not neither cold poverty, famish or gout, sickness and pain, you won't let a body and brain keep you away from that thing that you want, Mr. Speaker. Because if it dogged and grim, you proceed and present it with the help of God, you too will get it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Spotsylvania, Delegate Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In my house, I work, and my wife has the privilege and honor of staying home and doing many things to run the household. One of the things that she does very well is the way that she grocery shops. She prepares lists. She looks for the best deals to save as much money as possible, because when you're a single-income family, you got to pinch pennies and save dollars. Mr. Speaker, I rise to bring some clarity to how the Trump administration has saved money for every American when it comes to the grocery bill. Pediasure, $13.97 in 2024. This year, that same six-pack, $10.97. Orange juice, Walmart doesn't sell full gallons anymore, but in 2023, the 3-quart was $6.12. Now it's $5.47. Ground pork in 2023 was $5.96, and now it is $4.82. Mr. Speaker, these are real facts. These are real prices. White potatoes, 5-pound bag, $4.77 back in 2023. This year, current price, $2.77, Mr. Speaker. See, prices are going down. People are saving money. A gallon of milk, $3.48 in 2024. Now $3.01. Again, prices going down. And I've got more, Mr. Speaker. A 2-pound bag of baby carrots, $2.32. Back right now in 2026 is $2.32. Back in 24, it was almost double the price. Again, Mr. Speaker, I've got pictures and pictures from my wife showing the different prices on different grocery items that people buy every single day. And the truth is, the policies by the Trump administration factually have brought down the cost of groceries. We could have continued the trend in this General Assembly this year by eliminating the grocery tax. Again, saving more people money when they go to buy groceries to feed their families. Instead, we didn't. So facts matter, Mr. Speaker, and when we get up and we talk, we may have different perspectives on the way things should be accomplished, but you can't deny the facts and you can't make up facts, Mr. Speaker. So when we speak on these things and we say that the Trump administration has saved money, we say that we have ways to lower costs of the everyday goods that people consume, we're not speaking from emotion, we're speaking from factual evidence. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Prince William, Doug Maldonado.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise for a point of personal privilege.
The delegate has the floor.
And Mr. Speaker, because I know you like us to be succinct and short in our comments, I've taken the liberty to write down a few words. In all seriousness, Mr. Speaker, I rise for the purpose of speaking about our honorable Black History Month and to recognize visionaries shaping the future of justice and technology, one of my most favored subjects. And the person I'd like to talk about today, because historically we talk about the shoulders we stand on, and we don't talk a lot about the shoulders that are paving the way for future wayshowers. And today I'd like to talk about Dr. Joy Buolamwini. Her journey stretches from Canada to Mississippi to MIT, across borders, across expectations, and into history. Born in Canada to Ghanaian parents and raised in Mississippi, she grew up navigating identity and opportunity in the American South. At 9 years old, she saw an MIT robot named Kismet and decided she wanted to understand how it worked. She taught herself to code while balancing school and athletics and carried that determination forward. She went on to study computer science at Georgia Tech, became a Rhodes Scholar, and ultimately earned her doctorate from MIT. That path, from a young immigrant child in the South to the MIT Media Lab, is a testament to what becomes possible when talent meets opportunity and when a young Black girl sees technology and decides she belongs in shaping it. While at MIT, she examined facial recognition systems and found they were far less accurate for darker-skinned individuals and women, in particular, falsely identifying Black people and Asians. Tools increasingly used in policing and hiring and housing and finance were entrenching existing bias in digital form. She exposed the disparity, sparking a global reckoning and forcing companies and lawmakers to confront how artificial intelligence can encode discrimination. We often say we stand on the shoulders of giants, and we do. We honor Katherine Johnson, Dorothy Vaughan, and Mary Jackson, whose calculations carried America into space. We acknowledge innovators such as Mark Dean, who helped develop the personal computer, Gladys West, whose mathematical modeling made GPS possible, and Roy Clay Sr., a pioneer of Silicon Valley who helped shape the early tech industry. And today we honor a woman who rose on those shoulders and who now becomes the shoulders for others. As Virginia shapes the future of artificial intelligence and digital governance, her work reminds us that innovation is not neutral, Mr. Speaker. It can codify the injustices of our past, or it can code justice into our future. When young people see powerful black women leaders like Dr. Bulamwini, when they see themselves reflected in laboratories, in boardrooms, in politics, and in lines of code, they understand that they belong. And when we know we belong, we lead with purpose and uplift our communities. It is possible when we see it, and it becomes transformative when we choose to build it. And as we celebrate Black History Month, Mr. Speaker, may we ensure justice lives not only in our history, but in the technology shaping our present and future. Because innovation without accountability is not progress. It is injustice redesigned. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Delegate from Stafford, Delegate Carroll.
Mr. Speaker, I request that we return to the first morning hour for the purpose of 2 introductions.
The delegate has the floor.
Mr. Speaker, today in the gallery we have members of the Black Student Union from Brook Point High School in Stafford, Virginia. I ask that they please rise to be recognized. Mr. Speaker, these students are here today during Black History Month to advocate for the rights of students to promote social justice and policies that uplift the community. Mr. Speaker, these students are no stranger to this here chamber. They have been here before, and they are back today to promote representation and visibility, to amplify their voices, experiences, and perspectives of the students who look like them to this legislative body because we make decisions that impact their lives. Mr. Speaker, today class has been in session right here at the Capitol. These young people sat in a House committee meeting and met with legislators from both chambers to advocate for change because we know history has shown us that courage can be contagious and that hope can take on a life of its own. Mr. Speaker, I ask that the House join me in reminding these young scholars to keep hope alive by giving them a warm House welcome.
Welcome, welcome to the Capitol today. The delegate from Stafford, Delegate Carroll.
Mr. Speaker and members of the House, today I am proud to introduce the students and educators from the Leadership, Education, and Public Service Center, or better known as LEAPS, at Mountain View High School, located in Stafford County. I ask that they please rise to be recognized. Mr. Speaker, these students aren't just learning about leadership and public service. They are actively living in it. Today, they are not observers, they are advocates. They are using the critical thinking, collaboration, and problem-solving skills that they've developed to engage directly with legislators to evaluate their voices and champion meaningful change. By attending committee meetings this morning and showing up in this space, they are demonstrating what it means to be informed, involved, and invested in their community. Their presence in this chamber is powerful. It signals that the next generation is not just waiting for the future. They are preparing for it, shaping it, and boldly stepping forward to lead their communities with purpose and conviction. Mr. Speaker, I ask that you join me in giving them a warm House welcome.
Welcome, welcome to the Capitol today. Clerk will call calendar.
Calendar for this Friday, February 27th, for the Virginia House of Delegates. First category, Senate bills on third reading, uncontested calendar. 20 bills in the uncontested calendar block, beginning with page 1 of the printed calendar, Senate Bill 17, which is legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to enforcement of vehicle liens, property value, legislation report committee on transportation.
Delegate from Winchester, Delegate Wiley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 17 simply updates the vehicle cap to sell abandoned vehicles to $17,000, which aligns with inflation. This bill is identical to my House bill 1226, which passed out of the House unanimously on a vote of 98-0. Hope it is will of the body to pass this legislation.
Over on page 2, we continue. Senate Bill 67 and 177 are out of the block. Therefore, second bill in the block is Senate Bill 184, legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Consumer Protection Act, shipping goods without certain information. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 184 updates the Virginia Consumer Protection Act to require basic transparency when goods are shipped to consumers as part of a reoccurring transaction. I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 204 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to special license plates, Virginia Realtors. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Bolivar.
Mr. Speaker, SB 204 is the cognate to my HB 1339, which passed unanimously from this body. SB 204 adjusts the cost for an existing Realtor-branded license plate to allow $15 from the purchase of every plate to go toward the Virginia Realtor 501c3 Disaster Relief Fund. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the block, we come to Senate Bill 293, which would direct the Capital Region Airport Commission to develop a plan for discontinuing the use of PFAS chemicals in firefighting materials at Richmond International Airport. Report. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the General Laws amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 293 is a simple Section 1 bill that directs the Capital Region Airport Commission to develop a plan to discontinue the use of PFAS-based firefighting materials by January 1, 2030. The amendment moved it from 28 to 2030, and to submit a report on that plan to the Virginia Aviation Board by November 15th of that year. I move that the bill pass.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 305, which is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to kinship foster care, barrier crime waiver. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendment nature as substitute.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, somehow the Senate actually got this bill better than we did, and so I'm going to move the committee substitute, but ask that the House reject that.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no.
No.
The committee substitute is rejected. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So now SB 305 creates a process for the Social Services local department to request a barrier crime waiver on behalf of someone convicted of a Virginia barrier crime, so they can be approved by the Department of Social Services to be a foster kinship home. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the uncontested block, Senate Bill 320 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Transportation autonomous truck-mounted attenuators pilot program authorized. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 320 is the cognate to House Bill 582, which passes the chamber uncontested. As said, it has a pilot program for autonomous truck-mounted attenuators. I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 331 now before you seeks to amend and reenact a section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Board of Veterinary Medicine traineeships. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. SB 331 expands eligibility for the veterinary traineeship program to include graduates of accredited veterinary schools that have not yet passed other accreditation. This is going to allow more folks to get into that program. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with third reading, final passage block, uncontested, Senate Bill 377 now before you seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric substation construction agreements, electric cooperatives. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 377 is identical to House Bill 1191, which passed this body on February 11th on a vote of 98-0. This is a bill to allow large load customers in co-op territory to the option to self-fund and self-construct electric utility substations utilized for their dedicated service. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the uncontested calendar block, Senate Bill 405 is legislation seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, all relating to the Virginia Health Workforce Development Authority, administration of nursing scholarships. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from York County, Delegate Downey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 405 is a cognate to my bill HB 815. This bill will redirect the administration of funds currently housed under the Virginia Department of Health to the Virginia Health Workforce Development Authority to more efficiently disperse nursing scholarships to those seeking to enter the healthcare workforce. I hope it is the will of the body to pass the bill.
Senate Bill 407 out of the block, continuing on top of page 6 of the printed calendar if you're following along that way. Senate Bill 445 is legislative. It seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Motor Vehicles data, certain institutions of higher education fees. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation with a substitute.
Delegate from Prince William, Delegate Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the Transportation Committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Prince William, Delegate Sewell.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the substitute, SB 445 is identical to my House Bill 1226, which passed the body with unanimous support just yesterday. The bill extends the ability for the DMV to share consenting information with all institutions of higher ed based here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 516 now before you seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, disconnection reports, State Corporation Commission database, annual summary. Legislation reported from the Committee on Labor and Commerce with Member Nature substitute.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now that the substitute is adopted, this bill is identical to my House Bill 828, which passed the chamber unanimously. This bill directs the SEC to have a dashboard that details involuntary electric utility disconnections across the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Continuing with the uncontested block, Senate Bill 550 now before you seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to transportation network companies, publishing and disclosure requirements. Legislation reported Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill creates more transparency for Uber and Lyft drivers. I move passage.
Senate Bill 573 now before you seeks to amend and reenact different sections of the Code of Virginia relating to flashing red and white warning lights, emergency vehicle exemptions, Department of Military Affairs, emergency vehicles. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Fagans.
Speaker, Senate Bill 573 is a cognate to my House Bill 351. This bill clarifies that the Virginia Department of Military Affairs emergency vehicles are recognized as emergency vehicles when responding off installation. I move passage of this bill.
Continuing with the block, Senate Bill 577 is next up. It seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Property Disclosure Act. Require disclosures for buyer to beware. Buyer to exercise necessary due diligence, military ground installations. Legislation was reported Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Kriesik.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What this bill does is it adds a property's proximity to any military ground installation to the residential property disclosure statement provided by the Real Estate Board on its website for the buyer to be aware as to whether a property may be impacted by related noise or other effects of being next door to a military base. I hope, Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Over on page 8, we come now to Senate Bill 580, legislation to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services, individuals receiving services, right to send and receive mail. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 580 is the same bill as HB 1304 from Delegate Ware, which you've already passed in this House. This allows those receiving services from a facility licensed by the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Services to receive and send messages in electronic format. Currently, they can only do that by mail. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 716 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to the Commissioner of Highways, certain agreements with U.S. Department of Transportation, National Environmental Policy Act, or NEPA. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 716 is the cognate to House Bill 411, which passed out of this body 98-0. It authorizes the Virginia Department of Transportation to enter into agreement with the U.S. Department of Transportation to become the lead agency for environmental review process under the National Environmental Policy Act. I move passage of the bill.
Next up in the block, Senate Bill 735 seeks to amend and reenact a portion of the Acts of Assembly of 2024 relating to temporary detention, certified evaluators, sunset extended. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 735 is the same as HB 1292 from Delegate Price, which we passed here. This extends the sunset date for current provisions regarding hospitals with psychiatric emergency departments in the city of Hampton, so they can hire individuals to conduct evaluations to determine if the individual meets the criteria for temporary detainment. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Top of page 9, continuing with the block, Senate Bill 736 is legislation to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to the state and local hospitalization program repeal. Legislation reported Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from York County, Delegate Downey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 736 is the cognate to my bill HB 817. This bill eliminates the state and local hospitalization program, a program that has not been funded or in use since 2009. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Senate Bill 813 now before you seeks to amend the Code of Virginia, relating to sickle cell coordinated access network established. Report. Legislation, again, reported Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 813 is the same as HB 1391 from Delegate Hayes, which this body has passed. This requires a state health commissioner to work with the VCU health system to create and oversee a sickle cell coordinated access network to allow providers across the Commonwealth to receive real-time consultation and support from sickle cell specialists. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
And the last bill in this third reading, final passage on contested calendar block is Senate Bill 816, which seeks to amend and reenact portions of the Code of Virginia relating to employees of state government, personal interest in certain contracts prohibited, certain exception for certain employees of the Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is identical to my HB 1311. It would allow employees at the Virginia School for the Deaf and the Blind to enter into contracts with the Commonwealth to make available to students textbooks and other educational materials that are created by VSD employees. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bills pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, no 0. The bills pass.
Continuing with today's calendar, new category, middle of page 10 of the printed calendar, we come to Senate bills on third reading regular calendar. 24 plus bills in this category, beginning with Senate Bill 1, which is legislation to amend and reenact portion of the Code of Virginia relating to minimum wage. Legislation was reported to the Committee on Labor and Commerce.
The delegate from Hampton, Delegate Ward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill number 1 is identical to my bill, House Bill number 1. That would incrementally increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour by January the 1st, 2028. Mr. Speaker, for the 7th year in a row, I move passage of this bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 34.
Ayes 62, noes 34. The bill passes.
Top of page 11, Senate Bill 5 would direct the Department of Housing and Community Development to establish an income-qualified energy efficiency and weatherization task force. Report. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with an amendment.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to move the Labor and Commerce Amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate LaVere Bowling.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 5 is the Senate cognate to my HB 3, which passed this body 78 to 18. It does exactly what the clerk says, and with that, I move that we pass the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 72, noes 24.
Ayes 72, noes 24. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 14, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia related to alcoholic beverage control, retail licenses, commercial lifestyle center licenses. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 14 allows the Board of Directors of the Virginia Alcoholic Beverage Control Authority to grant a commercial lifestyle center license and a performing arts facility license for the same designated area in any municipality with a population in excess of 450,000 and an annual tourism fiscal impact in excess of $3.5 billion, provided that the performing arts facility license is limited to pre-scheduled events, and such licenses shall not be used simultaneously. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 90, noes 4.
Ayes 90, noes 4. The bill passes.
Over on page 12, we come to Senate Bill 252, which seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to Renewable Energy Portfolio Standard Program, Geothermal Heating and Cooling Systems Report. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Singh.
Mr. Speaker, SB 252 is a cognate to my HB 1102, which passed 7127. The bill would facilitate the adoption of geothermal energy, which heats and cools buildings in a cleaner way and lowers bills. I move passage.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 67, noes 29.
Ayes 67, noes 29. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 254 now before you seeks to amend and reenact a portion of the Code of Virginia related to electric utilities, shared solar programs, Phase 2 utility. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, SB 254 is identical to my HB 807, which passed the House unanimously. It expands the Dominion Shared Solar Program. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 83, noes 13.
Ayes 83, noes 13. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 255 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, shared solar programs, Phase 1 utility. Legislation again, Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Sullivan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 255 is identical to my HB 809, which passed this body unanimously. It expands the APCO Shared Solar Program. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 86, noes 10.
Ayes 86, noes 10. The bill passes.
Top of page 13, Senate Bill 270 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia as well as the Acts of Assembly of 2025 relating to recovery residences regulations. Legislation Report Committee on Health and Human Services with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax,
Mr.
Delegate
Speaker,
Simon.
with the committee substitute now adopted, this bill is identical to my House Bill 931, which changes regulations around recovery residences. That bill passed this body 97-0. I move that this bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 288 is legislation to amend the Code of Virginia relating to protection of employees, standards for heat illness prevention. Report. Legislation Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the substitute, this is now identical to my HB 1092, which directs the Safety and Health Codes Board to develop the first ever heat stress protections that will safeguard Virginia's workers in indoor and outdoor work. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 61, noes 34.
Ayes 61, noes 34. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 313 is legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Residential Landlord and Tenant Act, prohibited provisions, fees for maintenance, and periodic payments. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with an amendment nature of substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Tran.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. This bill as substituted is now identical to my House Bill 1005. It requires landlords to accept payment for rent and security deposits in various forms. It also requires landlords to provide a rent receipt in certain circumstances and prohibits them from charging a fee to answer a request for basic maintenance. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 34.
Ayes 62, noes 34. The bill passes.
Over on page 14, continuing third reading regular, Senate Bill 327 now before you, seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, pilot program for electric energy conservation, generation, and storage. Legislative Report Committee on Labor and Commerce with amendment nature substitute.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Mr. Speaker, I move the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Mr. Speaker, with that substitute, this is now identical to my HB 1062. This is landmark energy legislation that will lower energy bills for families by unlocking investments of up to $300 million in home energy upgrades over the next few years. The House bill passed out of here, 76-22, and I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 67, noes 29.
Ayes 67, noes 29. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 418 now before you, seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to therapeutic interchange and adaptation. Legislative Support Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 418 authorizes pharmacists to substitute one drug for another in the same therapeutic class when the substitution lowers the cost and is cost neutral, and there's a drug shortage. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 87, noes 8.
Ayes 87, noes 8. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 421 is legislation that seeks to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to remote pharmacist verification and counseling and opioid treatment programs. Legislation is reported for the Committee on Health and Human Services.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. SB 421 allows a Virginia licensed pharmacist to remotely verify, certify, and supervise when a pharmacy tech or other personnel dispense a medication to treat an opioid use disorder at a federally certified opioid treatment center. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 91, noes 5.
Ayes 91, noes 5. The bill passes.
Over on page 15, we come to Senate Bill 423, which seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, duty to furnish adequate service, delay in provision of service. Legislative Report Committee on Labor and Commerce.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This is not a health care bill, but it is one of my bills related to it. Mr. Speaker, SB 423 has my House cognate HB 1151, which we passed. This allows electric utilities to delay new service connections when it's necessary to maintain grid reliability and avoid excesses available generation or transmission capacity issues. Mr. Speaker, I hope it's the will of the body to pass this bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 65, ayes 66, noes 30.
Ayes 66, noes 30. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 429 would direct the Department of Health and the State Health Commissioner to take steps to improve nursing home quality and accountability. Legislative Report Committee on Health and Human Services, amendment nature substitute.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill, SB 429, takes steps to improve the overall quality care and oversight of the Commonwealth's nursing homes, specifically directs the Department of Health to expand workforce recruitment and capacity and reduce the administrative burdens there. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 1.
Ayes 95, noes 1. The bill passes.
Bottom on page 15, Senate Bill's third reading regular. Next up is Senate Bill 487, which seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, virtual power plant program, cooperatives. Legislative Support Committee on Labor and Commerce. And, Mr. Speaker, Delegate Reed has a floor substitute, which is available to the members here in the chamber and to the public via the Legislative Information System.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 47 is the cognate to my House Bill 562, which passed 99-0 out of this body, and as the clerk said, it authorized electric cooperatives to establish and implement a virtual power plant program. The floor substitute is at the request of the Office of the Attorney General, and it changes electric utility to electric co-ops 18 times through the body of the legislation. So I would like to move adoption of the floor substitute.
Shall the floor substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The floor substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, no 0. The bill passes.
Over on page 16, we come to Senate Bill 497, which would direct the Department of Transportation to identify opportunities for siting certain transmission lines in existing state highway rights-of-way. Report. Legislative Support Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate for Fairfax, Delegate Shen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, House Bill 497 is identical to House Bill. Did I say it's House Bill? Senate Bill 497 is identical to House Bill 889, which passed this body unanimously on February 9th. Senate Bill 497 directs the Virginia Department of Transportation to convene a work group, and including this SCC, to identify opportunities to develop recommendations for the streamlining of existing siting and permitting processes to prioritize co-location of transmission lines as much as it is feasible. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 1.
Ayes 95, noes 1. The bill passes.
Page 16, we come to Senate Bill 505, which seeks to direct the Commission to examine the efficacy and sufficiency of fuel and purchase power cost risk mitigation practices by certain electric utilities. Legislative Support Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 505 is the cognate to House Bill 1256, which passed this body unanimously on February 17th. The bill directs the SCC to examine and, where necessary, make recommendations regarding the efficacy of fuel and purchased power cost risk mitigation practices by Phase 1 and Phase 2 utilities in their annual fuel factor proceedings. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill be passed.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 96, no 0.
Ayes 96, no 0. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 508 would direct certain electric utilities to undertake comprehensive assessments and establish pilot programs related to surplus interconnection services. Report follow with that. Legislation was reported to Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Norfolk, Delegate Hernandez.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill is identical to my HB 1065, which is all about adding more power to the grid quickly by making the most of the energy infrastructure we already have. The bill calls on Dominion and APCO to do an assessment of surplus interconnection in their respective territories, and then the bill after that sets up a 600-megawatt pilot program. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 64, noes 32.
Ayes 64, noes 32. The bill passes.
Top of page 17, we come to Senate Bill 524, which seeks to amend and reenact multiple sections of the Code of Virginia, all relating to mental health and substance abuse disorders, network advocacy standards, comparative analyses. Report. Legislation reported from the Committee on Health and Human Services with Amendment Nature substitute.
Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move the House adopt the committee substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 524, which is the cognate of my HB 656, requires stronger network adequacy standards for health plans and updates the definitions of insurance coverage for mental health and substance abuse services. It mandates additional compliance with federal requirements and will essentially bring mental health parity for those services and those reimbursements. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 92, noes 4.
Ayes 92, noes 4. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 535, now before you, seeks to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to nursing homes and certified nursing facilities, required liability insurance coverage. Legislative Support Committee on Health and Human Services with an amendment.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move that the House adopt the committee amendment.
Shall the committee amendment be agreed to? All those in favor say aye. All those opposed, no. The committee amendment is agreed to. Delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
And thank you, Mr. Speaker. SB 535 directs the Board of Health to require buyers of licensed nursing homes or certified nursing facilities with claims made liability insurance policies to obtain that coverage that begins 2 years before the seller's policy ends. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass?
What bill are we on?
Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 95, noes 0.
Ayes 95, noes 0. The bill passes.
Continuing third reading, final passage category of regular bills, Senate Bill 583, top of page 18, is legislative seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to parking, stopping, and standing enforcement, bus obstruction monitoring system, civil penalties. Legislation Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from Loudoun County, Delegate Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 583 is the cognate to my House Bill 564, which passed this body 80-17. It allows localities to authorize the use of bus obstruction monitoring systems by a public transit agency to be able to enforce the stopping and parking or standing in dedicated bus lanes. I move passage of the bill.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 84, noes 11.
Ayes 84, noes 11. The bill passes.
Senate Bill 609 is legislation to amend and reenact a wide variety of sections of the code, repeal many others, all relating to revenues, taxes, gaming, and the lottery. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws with a large amendment in nature substitute.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House adopt the general law substitute.
Shall the committee substitute be agreed to? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. The committee substitute is agreed to. Delegate from Fairfax,
Thank
Delegate
you, Mr.
Creasy.
Speaker. The general law substitute laid my House Bill 271 on top of this bill, which passed this body 90-7 to establish the Virginia Gaming Commission to oversee and regulate all forms of legal gambling in the Commonwealth. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 90, noes 6.
Ayes 90, noes 6. The bill passes.
Page 19, Senate Bill 661 is by for the day. Therefore, the next bill before the body is Senate Bill 701, legislation to amend and reenact two sections of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Lottery, disclosure of identity of winners. Legislation Report Committee on General Laws.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This bill protects the privacy of lucky people. Anyone who wins the lottery. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 87. Ayes 87, noes 6, abstentions 1.
Ayes 87, noes 6, abstentions 1. The bill passes. We think somebody over here don't want y'all to know anything.
Continuing over on page 20, we come to Senate Bill 738, legislation that seeks to amend and reenact Section Code of Virginia relating to hospitals, emergency department physicians. Legislation reported from the Committee on Health and Human Services.
The delegate from Henrico, Delegate Willett.
I apologize, Mr. Speaker. I thought it was done, but I've got one more bill for you. Yes, this bill relates to hospital emergency physicians not being required for a certain psychiatric emergency department. It's enabling that facility to operate, and they have an agreement in place to have medical services provided, if necessary, by a neighboring facility. Mr. Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 92, noes 4.
Ayes 92, noes 4. The bill passes.
Going back to pick up a couple bills that got moved out of the uncontested block. So we go to page 2, and we come to Senate Bill 67. Senate Bill 67 is legislation to amend and reenact sections of the Code of Virginia relating to parking enforcement, issuance of a summons or a parking ticket. Legislation Report Committee on Transportation.
Delegate from James City County, Delegate Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 67 is the identical cognate to my House Bill 783, which passed out of this body with a vote of 77 to 21, and simply seeks to update language regarding parking enforcement and expand that authority to all localities. This bill is permissive in nature and supported by our local law enforcement, and with that, Speaker, I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 79, noes 15.
Ayes 79, noes 15. The bill passes.
Continuing on that same page, next up is Senate Bill 177, which is legislation to amend and reenact section of the Code of Virginia relating to the Virginia Consumer Protection Act, prohibited practices, consumer reproductive or sexual health information. Legislation Committee on General Laws.
The delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Senate Bill 177 is a technical modification to the reproductive health data law we passed last year. This bill creates a narrow exemption for data protected by the Graham-Leach-Bliley Act, which is the federal privacy law that applies to financial institutions. And this modification is only applicable to financial institutions, not other industries. This bill makes our law consistent and interoperable with similar laws in other states, which is important for financial institutions operating in multiple jurisdictions. I move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 88, noes 7.
Ayes 88, noes 7. The bill passes.
And last bill in this category, third reading, final passage, regular calendar section, is Senate Bill 407, which seeks to amend the Code of Virginia relating to electric utilities, transportation electrification, electric vehicle fast charging stations. Legislation Support Committee on Labor and Commerce.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Shan.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Senate Bill 407 is identical to House Bill 1225, which passed this body on February 11th on a vote of 88 to 9. This legislation would support the development of an accessible and reliable electric vehicle charging infrastructure market in Virginia. Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to list out all of the details of this bill again once, but if for the expediency of a Friday, I would move that the bill pass.
Shall the bill pass? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 81, noes 14.
Ayes 81, noes 14. The bill passes.
Right. Over on page 20, we come to House bills with Senate amendments. A new category, House bills with Senate amendments. We begin on middle of page 20 with House Bill 77. House Bill 77 relates to enforcement of federal traffic infractions by state and local law enforcement officers. Planning District 8. Legislation originally passed the House, passed the Senate with a substitute. That Senate substitute is now before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Creasy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate substitute to my bill, House Bill 77, which authorizes local and state police to enforce federal traffic laws on the George Washington Parkway, conformed it to the Senate cognate SB 81, now includes a provision authorizing speed monitoring devices. Mr. Speaker, I move that the House agree to the Senate substitute and vote no so we can send this into conference.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 2, noes 94.
Ayes 2, noes 94. The Senate substitute is rejected.
House Bill 93, now before you, relates to firearm transfers to another person from a prohibited person. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with amendments. The Senate amendments to House Bill 93 are before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Simon.
Mr. Speaker, this is now Senator Bennett Parker's HB 93, and unsurprisingly, she likes the Senate amendments, but let me tell you a little bit about what this bill is. This is the bill that closes a dangerous loophole that would allow convicted domestic abusers to keep their firearms in their home, and this bill creates a mechanism for those firearms to be surrendered to law enforcement and then for the person eventually to get it back if they're able to. The Senate amendments change the term reason to believe to probable cause to align with our warrant standards. Again, I hope it's the pleasure of the body to adopt the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate amendment be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 61, noes 34.
Ayes 61, noes 34. The Senate amendment is adopted.
Over on page 21, we come to House Bill 168, legislation relating to elections of certain governing bodies, conversion to single-member districts. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate. With the substitute, the Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Virginia Beach, Delegate Askew.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, as the clerk said, this is our, or the Commonwealth's 10-1 local government bill for our voting rights. I would ask that we accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 66, noes 30.
Ayes 66, noes 30. The Senate substitute is agreed to.
Senate Bill 200, House Bill 247, middle of page 21, is Delegate Watts' legislation relating to deferred disposition in a criminal case, persons with autism, intellectual disabilities, or developmental disabilities, expungement. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with substitute. Senate substitutes before you.
Delegate from Fairfax, Delegate Watts.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 247 deals with the specialty docket for those with developmental disabilities and clarifies how one determines the qualifications for being considered for such deferred disposition. The Senate substitute merely changes one word, changes the word admits to stipulates, and I hope it'll be the pleasure of the body to accept the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 62, noes 33.
Ayes 62, noes 33. The Senate substitute is adopted.
House Bill 388 now before you relates to powers of service districts, control of invasive plants. Legislation originally passed the House, passed the Senate with the substitute now before you.
Delegate from Albemarle, Delegate Carlson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate substitute is minor technical changes, adds a comma, and changes minor language. The underlying bill is about making sure that our service districts can control invasive plants. I would move that we adopt the Senate substitute.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 91, noes 5.
Ayes 91, noes 5. The Senate substitute is adopted.
And the last bill in this category is House Bill 702. HB 702 would direct local law enforcement agencies to implement a firearm give-back program or a firearm buyback program. Legislation originally passed the House, subsequently passed the Senate with substitute, which is before you.
Delegate from Fredericksburg, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Senate substitute simply moves the bill from a Section 1 bill to Chapter 15. They put it in the code. We like it. I ask that we accept the Senate amendments.
Shall the Senate substitute be adopted? Clerk will close the roll.
Ayes 59, noes 34.
Ayes 59, noes 34. The Senate substitute is adopted.
Over on page 22, commending resolutions laid on the Speaker's table. That one has been taken by until March 5th. Therefore, that completes the calendar for today.
Per House Rule 51, the House has returned to the morning hour. Does the clerk have any additional announcements or communications?
No communications, just the meeting schedule announcements for this Friday. We are the Committee on Appropriations, 15 minutes, is going to meet 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House, so approximately a little bit before 12:45. They'll be, of course, up on the 12th floor of the General Assembly building in the Appropriations Room. The only other legislative meeting is Courts of Justice Criminal Subcommittee, and they're meeting 15 minutes upon adjournment of the House as well. They will, however, be down on the second floor in House Committee Room C. So Appropriations up on 12, Courts Crim on the second floor. Those are the only meetings I'm aware of for this afternoon. Then looking ahead to Monday, March 2nd, we begin at the first legislative meeting is at 7 a.m. Committee on Finances, Subcommittee number 1, will be meeting in House Committee Room B on the second floor. So 7 a.m. Finance Sub 1. Then at 10 o'clock, the Communications Technology and Innovation full committee is meeting at 10 o'clock in House Committee Room C on the second floor of the General Assembly building. Also at 10 o'clock on Monday, the Committee on Education's Higher Education subcommittee will be meeting, and they will be in House Committee Room A on the lower level. So a couple subcommittees and one full committee meeting on Monday morning. Then the Democratic caucus will meet at 11:15 on a Monday, and the Republican caucus will meet at 11:30. We will have the schedule reflect such. Of course, Democrats will be in House Room 1, Republicans in House Room 2. Ms. Speaker, that completes the announcements I have on this Friday.
Executive from Fairfax, Douglas Helmer.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in addition to the clerk's announcements, the Rules Studies Subcommittee will meet at 7:30 on Monday morning. So look forward to seeing everybody bright and early.
We will add that to the calendar.
The delegate from Fredericksburg, Delegate Cole.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise for the purpose of a very expeditious introduction.
The delegate has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In the Capitol today, we have representatives from the University of Mary Washington's James Farmer Multicultural Center, and I will ask that they will please stand. Hi, y'all. Through the Office of Multicultural Affairs, the center serves as a space where students from all walks of life come together to share experiences, engage in meaningful dialogue, and build mutual understanding. It strives to be a dynamic hub of learning and connection, strengthening leadership, expanding horizons, and fostering a campus culture rooted in curiosity, collaboration, and respect. Its work helps ensure that every student has the opportunity to thrive and feel a true sense of belonging, and joining them with them today is their assistant director, so I hope it'll be the privilege of the body to give them a warm house welcome.
Welcome to the Capitol today. Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene on Monday at 12 noon.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourn to reconvene Monday at 12 noon. As many in favor of the motion shall say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the House do now adjourn.
Delegate from Alexandria, Delegate Herring, moves that the House do now adjourn. As many in favor of the motion will say aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. The motion is agreed to. The House stands adjourned until Monday at 12 noon.